If this is a fresh video, welcome back to CountyLine TV. If not, thanks for staying tuned. We're gonna be working on my dad's blue car, for lack of a better term, the missile car right now. Oh, I just touched a button. We're back. We're gonna call it a missile car because it's what he's gonna learn to drift in. It's gonna be his, like, go out on my first track day and crash my car. And right now it needs a transmission and an alternator. I said that in the video where I did a tour of all the projects. It's almost ready to pull. We are going to finish that process. It's just pulling the strut tower off the top. The mounts and the cross member, I think that's the only stuff that's left. Shifter has to come out too. Very little things. So we're gonna get right to it.
You good?
Yeah, this engine's fine.
Here's a flashlight.
What? What kind of flashlight?
James has a problem with that.
Orange flashlight?
No way, we've been missing that for so long. Was it like magnet stuck to something?
Magnet.
Dude,
Also,
we've been missing that forever.
Also, there's a door now.
God dang, dude.
I need I don't know, 15.
You probably don't need a 15 for anything on this car.
Alright. 13 maybe? I don't know.
What'd you say?
13 maybe? I don't know.
You also don't need a 13 for anything on this car.
14 it is.
Quiet on the set. So we quickly realized there was a lot more stuff to unhook on this. This ground strap has to come unhooked, both power steering lines, this vacuum line, the intake tube, the ground over here, the heater hoses, just all kinds of crap. The AC line, we were not as close as I thought. So here's an update. We got all that stuff unhooked. So he's getting the shifter right now, and then he's actually done, I think. Don't lose that spring. He's getting the shifter unhooked right now. That's done. So now all that's left is, we actually haven't got the heater hoses yet, I lied. Heater hoses have to come off, and then the transmission cross member comes off, and then engine mounts, and she's out. And I've done 350Zs enough that I know for a fact every single thing that he's done, and that's it. So we'll get back to you when we get the engine hoist over here. We're gonna do another engine pull time lapse, but this time we're not gonna cut everything like we did on that SC300. Well, that's that. We, nope. You guys. Well, that's that. Now we need to put a fresh transmission on this and a fresh alternator, and then jam it back on in. So we'll film a little bit of that for you. So I wasn't gonna record us like unbolting the transmission because it's just 5 minutes of me with the impact. I was just gonna record us like physically pulling the transmission off of the engine and then putting the new one on or whatever. But I was using my Impact. It's the mid-torque 3/8 drive. Shout out to my roommate. He bought that for me. Love you, brother. And yeah, I was using this chrome extension. Ripped to that. It hit me in the head when that piece broke off. So yeah, just like I said in that one video, straight from the mouth of Justin way back there. Pro tip: don't use chrome on an Impact. It doesn't end well. All right, we're gonna yank this sucker off. I just gotta find a good place for you guys. That'll do. We're gonna yank this sucker off now.
Oh boy.
Hey, I got a mini tripod. Shout out to Zach. You guys will meet Zach probably more on the Trap Ratings channel than this channel, but we're gonna bust this thing off now. But anyway, Zach got me that mini tripod, so we can actually do low stuff now.
Oh, yeah, you missed the whole bolt.
Did I?
You know
Where?
the one by the starter?
Oh, what size?
There's one on the floor.
We're gonna do a little bit of cleaning up now, and then slap the other transmission on here, and then we'll move to the alternator. So we'll see you guys in a second. Cut. All right, so in the car we had cut the cats off, then like sold them or whatever, and out of the car, like just now, I just took these nuts off. I had to cut this stud out, but whatever. We took these other two nuts off and cut that stud out, and we're trying to get this piece of what used to be the cat pipe off of the header. And like we drove a breaker or a pry bar down into here and was prying, down into here and was prying. We couldn't get it to pry off, so I was smacking it with the old trusty mini sledge here, giving her the old Michael Jackson just beat it. And I was beating it this way and beating it this way and beating it all sorts of ways. And one time I gave it a good smack this way, and that happened. The freaking O2 sensor broke the whole bung off. Come on, focus. Broke the whole bung right off of the exhaust pipe. You believe that? So I just happened to have a pair of headers up there that came off of another VQ35, and so we're just gonna swap both of these headers off for those ones I have up there. I think they even have good O2 sensors still in them, so we don't have to worry about any of that. We'll just pop them off, pop the new ones on, change the alternator, put the trans on, we'll be back in. I just figured I'd update you guys on that because that was crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like that. so we'll get back to it.
It's a top tip. Never did a bump roller all on drag.
I hope the camera picked that up. So while we were changing stuff over, we found this, which luckily I have a new or a used good harness in stock here, so we don't have to worry about trying to source one. But my dad does have to buy that off me because those are somewhat valuable, uncut, undamaged harnesses. So I'll have to sell him that, but that just kind of sucks. Just another thing we have to do before we put it in. And that might actually be why the alternator wasn't charging, is one of those wires might be the wire that turns it on or that runs the voltage regulator or whatever. So we're gonna have to take that alternator in and get it tested and make sure the alternator was even the problem, and then go from there on whether we put that alternator back on or put his new one on and just change this harness or whatever. But we are going to change the harness regardless, because there's like, I don't know if you could tell when I showed it to you, but there's like 5 or 6 wires that are totally chewed through and just toast, so that's not good. Any way you look at it, gonna have to change that out. And but other than that, we do have the alternator off. We did change the headers already, exhaust manifolds, whatever you want to call them. I'm just looking around, giving an update as I talk to you guys. Change those. That's bad. Got to change that. New trans is over there, about to go on. There's your update. Once we get the trans on, and I haven't decided, maybe we'll change the harness tonight, maybe we'll wait till the morning, but we're pretty close to going inside for the night. So this video will more than likely continue on until tomorrow. Maybe it won't. I gotta do that thing where I look at how long I've been recording. Anyway, there's your update. Hey guys, my dad's here today so we can work on his situation some more, change that engine harness and get this put back in there and ready to run once we get a alternator, or not an alternator, a radiator bracket set up in there. Like I said yesterday, first thing we're gonna do is go get some alternators tested. So we're about to load those up and take them in to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or wherever and get them tested and find out which one's good and which one's not good, or if they're both good or whatever. I'm really starting to think that the only reason this thing wasn't charging is because the harness has been ate through, and one of those wires was probably the trigger wire for the alternator or the voltage regulator or what have you. So we'll get back with you on results on that. We've got the alternator that came off of the car, and we got this oily one that came off of a different car, and this one has a bent up pulley, but in case this one's good and this one's not, we'll take the pulley off that one and put it on that one or whatever. And then I gotta go inside and talk to CJ real quick, because he told Dad that an alternator came with this car, but I don't know where he's got an alternator laying around at, so we need to find out from him where his spare alternator is so that we can go get it tested while we're getting these two tested. And then, because the one that came on the car is Dad's, obviously. The oily one's mine, but I'm willing to sacrifice it because I don't really have any need for it. I have another spare VQ alternator up there, and I don't even own a VQ car right now. So, so I don't really care about that. That can go. But if that crusty one's bad and the oily one's good, but it's got a bad pulley, but CJ's willing to give Dad one that is good and has a good pulley, then, well, I'd rather go that route. That way we don't have to mess with it. All right, we just got back from the parts store. Turns out the alternator that was on this engine originally was bad, and the one that was all oily that we had is good. So we swapped the pulley over from the bad one to the good one, because the bad one had a good pulley, the good one had a bad pulley. That situation's taken care of. We already swapped the wiring harness over from my spare harness that I had laying around, and now we're getting ready to slap the transmission on, put it in the car. So I'll pick you guys back up when we get the chain hooked back up to it and we're going in the car. See you then. All right, we got her chained up and we got the transmission put on and everything. That went pretty smooth once we got the transmission actually on the engine. We had to like take it back out and grease the input shaft a little bit, which is normal. No big deal there. So we're getting ready to slide it on in now. That's it.
Locked and loaded.
Shoo. All right. Oh, that wasn't too bad. We just had the chain tilted a little far over, so the engine was sort of like tilty. which no big deal. We got her. She's ready to go. We can take the chain off now, put the motor mount nuts on, and then get the transmission mount bolted up. It's easy peasy from here out. And luckily I do have that little miniature tripod there now, so I can take you guys up under the car with me. And oh man, you know what we forgot to do again? I do this every time. We forgot to line the drive shaft up with the transmission on the way in. I do this every time. But
Want to take it back out?
no. We just have to take the drive shaft off the diff now and then slide it into the transmission and bolt it back up to the diff. It's no big deal. I forget every time. But next thing you see will probably be me underneath the car working on that stuff, and then we'll get to running the wiring back in and hooking all the hoses up. And oh, it's Legos at this point. Hey guys, I really need to stop forgetting to close out my videos because the quality on this webcam camera is nice and poopy. So I need to quit doing that, but I'll get better at it, whatever. If you liked it, like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, but you want to help me out, like and subscribe. I appreciate it either way. On the next one, you guys will probably see more of my dad's car, because I was going to do some 2JZ stuff. I was going to sell my VVTi block and my non-VVTi head, which is the opposite of what I'm using for my engine that I'm putting together for my drift car. But I don't know if that's going to go through or not. So just tell you on that. But I did buy an engine stand for it. You'll see that too. But then we'll get back. I hate being under cars. Since I don't have a lift, so the first thing I'll do when I get back out there is get under the car so I can get that out of the way, and then I just do all the easy stuff on top. But that's what you'll be seeing next time. Peace.